Hi, thanks for joining me for another episode of Your Money Mindset, guiding you to achieve true, lasting financial freedom and peace of mind. We have a lot going on in the world today, and I wanted to share my perspective and share 5 solid ways you can generate cash flow during this time. So stay with me. I think you're going to get something out of this. By now, you're well aware of the financial crisis that's hitting this country and the world. And I want you to forget about the NASDAQ at an all-time high, and I wouldn't set your mind on what Wall Street is doing as a barometer of the overall economy. Many factors can artificially inflate the stock market. And although we're starting to hear some very positive economic news come out, for example, employment numbers are getting better as more and more people are going back to work. And retail sales rose 18% in May. Now that's a huge number and just great for our economy. But I just don't think we're out of the woods quite yet. We've all seen so many times how emotion, especially fear, can have a major impact on sell-offs and buy-ins into the market. But don't worry, you can still generate cash flow during a recession. Recessions are not all that uncommon. I mean, that's right. Since 1854, we've seen 33 recessions in this country. We've seen 12 since the end of World War II. And a recession typically averages about 11 months before recovery kicks back in. And the last one we saw starting in 2008 actually lingered for a couple of years. But the bottom line is things are still ugly, but there is a way to make money during this time. The last thing you need to do is panic and pull all your money out of your investments and think everything is doom and gloom. That's not the case. This will end, just as all other recessions have ended before. I just want you to focus on things you can do now to benefit yourself, even if you weren't prepared for this. Now is the time to take action. And first, I want you to focus on long-term issues. The moment you get caught up in short-term things, you lose. And that's true about any recession. Don't focus on a couple of months, but rather think years down the road. Because the decisions you make now, even if you didn't start anything before the recession kicked in, will have either a positive or negative influence on your future. If you're focused on the current environment, most likely it will be all negative. That's why I want you to focus on long-term issues right now. And as for surviving and thriving in the next recession, I'm going to give you 5 ways to do that. So let's get into it. Number 1. You have to get organized. I know what you're thinking, how painful that is. I get it, but it's absolutely crucial. I also know this may sound like common sense, but common sense is unfortunately not all that common these days, right? But I want you to think about this. There's a direct correlation between financial disorganization and financial devastation. Now let me repeat that. There is a direct correlation between financial disorganization and financial devastation. I've seen it all the time. The biggest problem I see with clients is that they are totally and completely disorganized. Some actually come into my office and see me with shoe boxes stuffed with papers and documents and contracts and other things. They have no idea what's in these boxes. They're literally packed full, even belching out what the lid is trying to contain. Can any of you relate to that? Some of you even tape these boxes closed. I've actually had others use large rubber bands to hold them shut. And most of the time, sadly, I find vital information and other documentation, including contracts, missing. And it's a huge cause of stress with people. I can just see it in their eyes when they come into my office. Right now, at this moment, getting organized is so important. It will alleviate a lot of pain and stress and anguish, and I think we could all use that right now. You can actually download a simple financial organizer from my website right now. Trust me, this is one of the biggest and most critical and beneficial first steps to taking advantage of a recession and be able to make money now. Number 2, pay off your debt. And I can already hear you, but John, how do I pay off my debt in the middle of recession? Don't I need to hoard every penny right now? No, you don't. Why? Well, think about it. How much is your debt costing you? Debt is a problem no matter whether the economy is booming or in a recession. Between credit cards, student loans, medical debt, your mortgage, and any other debt that carries interest rates, you're paying extra money just to have borrowed that money. I don't expect you to pay everything off right now, but begin paying off as much as you can now. Some people call it investing in your debt. And when you pay off your debt, you pay the creditors less money in interest over the life of that loan. That means more money in your pocket several years into the future. And the more you can pay, the more powerful your financial position becomes. But the more you owe, the bleaker things appear. Okay, number 3, simplify your lifestyle. If you have the opportunity, cut expenses wherever you can in order to increase cash on hand. Sure, it'd be great if we could rewind the clock about 6 months to give you enough time to gather up cash for emergencies and other situations, but we no longer have that option. Believe it or not, 69% of Americans report having less than $1,000 in savings, and 45% have absolutely zero savings whatsoever. And that's one of the key reasons why it's so important to simplify your lifestyle. If you don't have any money left over at the end of each month, you've got to find ways to save, and everyone can be doing better here. You just need to stop buying things you don't need. If it's not an absolute necessity, don't confuse a strong want with a real need. And instead of buying those things you don't need, take the cash and either put it in a savings account or pay down that debt, or better yet, a combination of the two. That is called simplifying your lifestyle. Here's an exercise I would highly encourage you to do with your spouse as well. Go back and look at all of your expenses over the past 3 months, every single one if you can. And just going through the list may open your eyes wide as to the needless spending you've been doing over the years. Awareness of that alone can be a big eye-opener. And look at that list and decide if those purchases was a need or a want, and then ask yourself if in fact you really needed it in the first place. If so, then ask yourself, was there a better and more economical way to get the same thing? Do the same thing with your wants. And I'm not saying you shouldn't spend money on wants, but perhaps there's a better and cheaper way to do it. Even if it's a small amount that you're saving, every dollar counts. And if you do this enough times, you're likely looking at a lot of money you can put back into your pocket. Okay, number 4, invest. And what I mean here is build assets. This may seem like a crazy time to invest your hard-earned money, but it's really the best time, I believe. Most people are scared, obviously so. They're operating out of a negative emotional mindset, so they're looking to sell and move everything into cash. Yet, when you have cash on hand because you simplified your lifestyle and were able to save more each month, guess what? You can now capitalize on the mistakes other people are making by building your assets now. And remember, there's absolutely no such thing as a one-size-fits-all approach to investing. It has to be tailored to your specific needs, your comfort levels, and your desires. So go over your current investments or your retirement plan assets and reallocate to take advantage of the current recession that we're seeing now. And although the market has come way back, there's still a lot of valuable stocks and companies that are on sale that eventually will go up. This is the time to take advantage of those downturns. And when you buy low and you sell high, you always win, right? Lastly, number 5, develop a side business. Some call it a side hustle, but whatever you want to call it, it's a business idea that can earn you extra money on the side. You could write books, become a speaker, put together informational courses, can and will pay dividends, not just immediately, but ongoing into the future. You could put together a podcast, do YouTube videos, develop courses, or anything else you want. What you want to do is take your expertise and convert it into something of value that other people want. And I guarantee you do have an expertise in something. Everyone does. And I want you to stop going through life trying to cope with the situations life throws in your way. Instead, get out there and capitalize on them. Most people claim they just don't have time to get organized or trim their expenses or simplify their lifestyle or invest. Whether you're getting back to work now or not, trust me, you have the time. When people say to me they don't have time for something, it usually means it's not a priority. So make it a priority so you can make the most, including money, out of this recession. And as I always say, your financial destiny is not a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. And it's never too late to start your journey to financial freedom and peace of mind. Check out my website for free tools and resources. And as I mentioned, that simple financial organizational document that you can use that'll really help you. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and please leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Well, I hope that was helpful. I wish you all the best and we'll see you next time.